Today, Broadside Day 868. I think if you're a parent, the only thing that you ever really ask for is your kids to be happy and healthy. And I was really nervous having kids, 2 boys, and when they're, you just want them to have all their fingers and toes and not have a cleft palate or some crazy defect or unfortunate with Down syndrome, or so you just don't want like any of that to happen to your children. And then when they're born healthy, you just like couldn't be happier. But then you look at people. I have 2 boys, and aside from the older one having tubes in his ears a couple times when he was a kid, nary a hint of health problems or anything, right? Which I think if you pay $3,000, which I think is what we paid at the time, to have tubes put into like a 4-year-old's ears and then they fall out 3 months later, I think the second round is on the doctor. But nevertheless, that's apparently not how they play that game. But what I was thinking about was like, obviously some people aren't as lucky. And I grew up in a church that had a large population of Down syndrome people. For whatever reason, they had their own choir and all this stuff. And just the most delightful, nicest people you'd ever want to meet. Shane Gillis is very right about the fact that they are like the true bros, right? They're just, they have their outbursts and all that sometimes and their temper tantrums, but by and large, they're like the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, right? But you would never wish somebody to have like that kind of life existence, not only for them, because they don't get to live the same kind of life as someone who doesn't have that, and this is true for any kind of birth defect, but also because of the parent who, for the most part, has a lifelong child, because they can't always live by themselves and all that stuff. But then I got to thinking, I was like, as much as you love your children, just unconditionally, wholeheartedly, you can't love somebody more until you have a child and you realize what that means. I wonder if people that have, like, for example, someone with Down syndrome, I wonder if they love that child more than people love a healthy child, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, as much as a drain as that is on you, I'm sure, by having to take care of somebody. Like, I know somebody that has, MS. I know somebody that has, like, spina bifida or something like that. Like, just crazy things that just need, like, 24/7 care. I don't know if it's spina bifida. That may have been cured. But something like that, right? Where they're just confined to a wheelchair. They can't feed themselves. They can't bathe them. Like that. And the dude's in his 70s, and he's still taking care of this, what is like a 50-year-old man, right? Like, that's crazy, but what makes you do that? There's only one answer, and it's love. But so does that amount of love equate to more love than you would have for just a normal child that can walk themselves to the school bus and feed and bathe themselves? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if, you couldn't do it with, I don't know how you test this theory, but, if somebody had somebody with a birth defect and somebody who didn't, they had one of each child, I'm sure they don't love the one with the birth defect more because they're going to love it. But I bet you that those people love their kids more than you love your kids, just by virtue of the fact that love has to push you into that direction. I don't know if any of this makes any sense, but I will say this. I think Emmett Otter was a dickhole, and so was his stupid mama, okay? They're poor, they're indigent, they're living in a little village. Emmett's having to do handyman work to make the ends meet, and she's washing clothes for people. So what do? He takes her wash pan and puts there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. And he tears up her only wash bucket, her only means of making money. So, and buys a piano so that she can go to the talent show and win a couple rupees or shillings. I don't even know what the reward was, I can't remember. And what's she do? She, behind his back, turns around and takes his tools. I might have already said this. Tools, and hawks them or sells them so that she can get him a guitar. So why did she get him a guitar? He's playing a wash tub bass. At any rate, they get rid of their only means of making money so that they might have a shot at winning a talent show. That is the dumbest thing you could possibly do for your child or your mom. Like, if you're like that, I couldn't think of any. The only thing dumber than that is we sold the house. We're going to have to put the washboard and the tools under a tree at night because we ain't got nowhere to put them. That's the only dumber thing they could have done, right? And then they don't win, right? Oh, but then what happened? I think Emmett's whore mother, that little otter bitch, I think she got a job singing because Mr. Peabody Frog, well, I don't remember what his name was. I think he was a frog. He had like a monocle or something, or maybe one of those like double monocles that you hold when you're watching the opera. What is that all about? I've been to an opera before. I didn't wear them stupid glasses. I could see fine. But she gets a job singing at like a barn dinner theater type of place. You know, she's singing while people are going back to the buffet for more things. And I went last night, by the way, to a local restaurant and had an all-you-can-eat salad bar while we watched the first half of the OKC game. And these three idiots came in and sat down next to us sometime in the second quarter. Acted like complete thug fools, right? Just cussing up a storm. Like, nobody wants to hear that, man. Like, that's a family restaurant. Yeah, all restaurants are pretty much family restaurants. And people that just cuss out loud and talk on FaceTime in public, nobody wants to hear any of that crap, right? Everybody in the bar just want to knock that dude off his chair. And the bartender was no exception. She was quite annoyed. But anyway, I guess that's all there. Him and Otter, it's just dumb. I mean, that's Otter. That just shows you that otters are stupid. They make dumb decisions, and that's just one of them. At any rate, I've said enough. Have a good one, Giddy.